It may be 1,187 days until the 2028 presidential election, but new polling shows Californians early favorites. According to polling by Emerson College, commissioned by KTLA parent company Nexstar Media, Vice President J.D. Vance is a runaway favorite among California Republicans, quadrupling second place former Democrat RFK Jr. California Governor Gavin Newsom leads among California Democrats with 23%. Former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg and former VP Kamala Harris are the only other Democrats to register double digits.
That poll from Emerson and Inside California Politics also presenting a new snapshot of the race for California governor now that former Vice President Harris has decided not to run. Former OC Congresswoman Katie Porter, the Democrat, is out front with 18%, with Republican commentator Steve Hilton in second at 12%. No one else is polling in double digits.
With more, we are joined by Inside California Politics host Nikki Lorenzo. Great to see you on this Friday evening, Nikki. Let's start with your initial analysis of the gubernatorial results. Could a Porter-Hilton matchup really be in the cards?
Great to be with you, Courtney and Micah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, if history is right here, if we look at the past big statewide races, even though we have a top two primary here in the state of California, we've seen a Republican and we've seen a Democrat. I have to say, both of those candidates are really loving this poll. I have a fundraising text that went out today from Katie Porter's campaign, and in it she says our campaign is the clear Democratic frontrunner with a 13-point lead over the next closest Democrat. Steve Hilton's campaign quickly jumped on this poll too, touting that he has been dubbed the person that can take it to the Democrats and Katie Porter. But this is the thing too, you have a lot of Democrats running. Katie Porter really is the only one with a ton of name ID here right now. She's coming off of that big Senate race, although she did not make it through the primary. With Kamala Harris out though, this has been the speculation. Once she got out of the race, Katie Porter would really be the one to beat. But again, it is still really early.
It is. So as it stands, Porter is out in front. Of course, a long road ahead. She's a Democrat in a very blue state. Your reporting, though, suggests she could soon be facing some headwinds.
Yes, indeed. So I've heard from sources, business community, not a fan. They're going to try to spend a lot of money to combat her. We saw this in the Senate race as well, specifically with tech and crypto. They ran ads against her in that primary election. I had a source describe it to me recently. Katie Porter is really seen as an outsider. She describes herself as a populist, a consumer protection lawyer, really coming from that progressive wing of the Democratic Party, but the Elizabeth Warren wing of that party. You have to remember, she did not endorse Kamala Harris when she ran for president. She endorsed Elizabeth Warren in that 2020 primary. And so a source told me today, Katie Porter isn't a Sacramento product. She didn't come up through the legislature like the lieutenant governor, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. She's not in the race anymore. But even in Antonio Villaraigosa, the former Los Angeles mayor, former assembly speaker, he knows Sacramento well. Even Javier Becerra spent some time in Sacramento. Everybody kind of knows if these Democrats were to be elected, they would know who their staff is. They would kind of know who's in their inner circle. And there's still a lot of questions about Katie Porter and who would surround her.
Well, let's talk about what you just mentioned, the poll already impacting the race, because today, Lieutenant Governor Eleni Kounalakis, she announced that she's going to be dropping out and running for state treasurer instead. What do you make of that?
So what's interesting about this is she was asked since she got in the race. She got in really early. I believe it was over a year ago she got into the race. And she said that if Kamala Harris, she called her a very close friend, that if she were to get into the race, that she would bow out because she felt like the former vice president would clear the field and they're close friends and she wouldn't want to stand in her path. So when that news came out last week, considering she can self-fund. She's got a ton of money in terms of the fundraising race and running a statewide campaign in California. You need a lot of money. So if you don't have it from donors and you can pull from your own pockets, that's huge. So this was surprising to some Democrats, although I asked a couple of folks today and I said, look, she was kind of reflecting, as she said in her statement, and seeing where she could possibly fit in a crowded field of Democrats, and decided, I'm going to run for treasurer instead. It's more of a safe bet.
Yeah, Nikki, let's talk more about Rick Caruso. When you were last on with us, you talked about how he'd told you he had three paths: Citizen Caruso, Mayor Caruso, or Governor Caruso. As someone who's not running, at least not yet, he's polling pretty well here, and he even waded into the race today by praising Kounalakis after her decision to drop out.
Yeah, in the top five, and he's not even a declared candidate yet. You have a former cabinet secretary in the former HHS Secretary Javier Becerra and former Attorney General and member of Congress who's polling below him. So it's tricky with Rick Caruso because all of us political journalists are watching his rhetoric, what he posts on social media, and everyone's waiting to see, is he going to go back and run for mayor, or is he going to take his race statewide? So last week there was an image posted on his social media. It was about 25 hours, if my math is correct, prior to the former vice president announcing that she was not going to run for governor. And it was an image with him and former Assembly Speaker Willie Brown, the longest serving speaker in California history. There it is right there. He's known as the Kingmaker. You don't do anything statewide in California without a visit to Willie Brown. So these images were posted with Willie Brown pointing at the state capitol there with Rick Caruso, and the caption said, "Who would have ever thought?" And then the next day, we hear the former vice president is not going to run for governor. So a lot of us were thinking, okay, is this some foreshadowing here? Is he going to jump into this race? Again, can self-fund. But as you guys know in LA, that doesn't mean anything. He threw a ton of money into the LA mayor's race, and he lost by double digits in the end.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. To be continued. Nikki, Lorenzo, always good to see you. We'll see you back here next Friday. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, guys. Great to be with you.
Thanks, Nikki.